Hello and welcome to another episode of Excel Statistics. Today we will be talking about probabilities. You see here we have a set of data for people based upon their age and whether or not they have the flu this season. Two things to keep in mind when we talk about probabilities is once we calculate a probability, every single one of them will be between the values of 0 and 1. 0 meaning that something will never occur, and 1 meaning something will always occur. In addition, if you sum up all the possible outcomes, the probabilities will always sum to exactly 1, thus meaning one of those outcomes will always occur. What we're going to do first is we're going to grab our data here, and I'm just going to do a quick copy and paste that down here, and then delete out the actual numbers. I just really wanted to get the labels down here, so I'd have a place to start with. So we're going to start by calculating our probabilities for each one of these specific combinations. So first we start off our formula with the equal sign. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this intersection here where under 70 meets flu, and I'm going to divide that by my 100, which is the total number of people in my group. Now before I hit enter, I'm going to go ahead and hit my F4 key on this second value. When that adds $signs in, it means I'm able to drag my formula and copy that to other locations without that value changing at all. So that reference will always divide everything by that value of 100, no matter where I copy the formula, while the number on the top will change as I copy my formula to the right and down. So we'll hit enter, and we'll see there we've got a probability of 0.08, which is 8 divided by 100. So highlighting that again, I'm going to grab this bottom right corner and then click and drag that to the right. Notice how those numbers change. Each one of these are now divided by still this 100, but the top value has now changed. I have those. I'm going to highlight those again and click this bottom right corner, drag down to get the remainder. There we've calculated all of our intersection probabilities as well as all of our individuals there for the totals of flu, no flu, and over 70. But we are wanting to get a few other values here, so we're going to calculate some specific probabilities. So here I want to talk about the probability of somebody being under 70 and having the flu. And so this is considered an intersection. So we want to find the place where these two values meet, the and. And this one's rather simple. So this is the one we already calculated. Under 70 and the flu is right where those two values meet. So to get this value, I'm just going to put my equals here. Click on that value. That will be it. More complicated is if we want to talk about the probability of somebody being over 70 or having the flu. So here we're talking about everyone here who has had the flu and everyone here who's under 70. So if we want everybody who's under 70, we want to take our probability of 0.43. We can follow that row all the way to the right. And we want to add to that everybody who's had the flu. So we find our flu column. We go all the way to the bottom and add that in. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to subtract out this intersection one time of people who are under 70 and had the flu. The reason we do that is that this 0.08 is included in this value of 0.27 because this is just the sum of these other two values. And it's also included in this value of 0.43 because it's a sum of 0.35 and 0.08. So because we added the 0.08 two times at this point, we will subtract it once to get the proper value. This tells us 62 or 0.62 probability, which means 62 out of our 100 people were either under 70 or had the flu during this past season, which makes sense. We have only 38 people in our group who fit in the group that was in neither of those, that was both over 70 and did not have the flu. That adds up to our 100%. The last one we're going to do is the probability that we are under 70 given that we had the flu. What our given is going to do is it's going to narrow down our data set. So instead of looking at our entire data set of 100 people, we're really only looking at a data set of 27, and we want to know how many people were under 70 out of that 27. So here we're going to start with our intersection value, and we're going to take our probability of being under 70 and having the flu that we had looked at before, and we're going to divide that by the probability that we have the flu. So just like we would up here on the top, if we only had a data set of 27 people and we want to know how many of them were under 70, we would take 8 divided by 27 to get to that value. This is no different. So the given simply truncates our data set into a smaller subset in which we calculate the probability. That leaves us with a probability of 0.2963. So that's really all we have for today. Hopefully you found this useful, and we will see you in the next episode.